Hey, welcome back to the channel. In my last episode, you saw me unbox my X-Men Premium from Stern Pinball. I'm loving the game so far, but there's some mods I want to do. There's not a whole lot of mods out there right now for it, but they're coming, I hear. We're going to be doing a cheap DIY speaker mod that you can do yourself with speakers from Amazon, and it makes the whole audio package much more enjoyable, and you can really feel the low end with the subwoofer that we're putting in here. Also, we're going to be putting all new bands on here from Titan Pinball. They've got a really cool translucent purple that I'm going to be doing on this game. I think it'll just really tie in with all the colors and a few other mods, so stay tuned. So let's look at the first mod, and that is going to be new speakers. On all my Stern games, I have retrofitted the crappy stock speakers. Now, you have two different options when dealing with the modern Stern games. When I say modern, they have the big LCD screen and the rectangular grill cutouts. Now, in a Pro and Premium, you have 4-inch speakers. Now, on the LE, they have a 5 1/4 speaker, which is a lot bigger. The brackets that are behind here are only designed for 4-inch speakers, so you can get onto like Marco Pinball or Pinball Life, and they sell the brackets for a 5 1/4 speaker, or I believe there's some brackets online that you can 3D print if you have a 3D printer. So this time around, I'm going with a 4-inch speaker. So these are the speakers for the back box, which you can see they are puny and they just sound terrible. And they're only held in with 2 screws. You got a screw here, here, and here, and here, and that's it. The panels I was talking about earlier, if you wanted to upgrade to a 5 1/4 speaker, it's this metal plate right here. First thing is you want to make sure your game is switched off. And then we're going to disconnect these Molex plugs. And we're going to reuse these by unsoldering them. If you're not sure how to solder, I believe you can get a adapter clip from Pinball Life that plugs into here, and then it has spade terminals that slide onto your new speakers. It's really not that difficult to do some soldering if you have a little bit of skill and you don't mind DIYing this stuff. So let's go ahead and remove these speakers and we'll go to the next step. Now, one thing on this particular brand of speakers, this little tweeter area does stick out a little bit on the face of the speaker, so that's going to interfere a little bit with your screws. We could bend these tabs down just a little bit to get the bolt on top of the speaker bracket here. So I'm going to point my terminals down, speaker terminals that is. Get one side started, just put a couple of turns on the nut, kind of tab this down. There is a little bit of give in the panel, so you can make it work. And the tabs on the speakers will bend a little bit as well to make it work. And these just need to be snug, just like that, and they're nice and secure. Start with the back, just put like this one or two turns on there, and then just push down on this side. And we're started. And that's it, they're installed. Next thing is we're going to reuse our connectors from the factory speakers. So we take our hot soldering iron, heat up the terminal, and remove those. And then now we're going to add a little bit of solder to these speaker terminals. So the bigger spade connector is your positive and the smaller one is your negative. So we just need to add a little bit of solder to that to pre-tin them. Now we can solder on the factory connector. Okay, that side is done. Add a little bit of solder to our terminals on our new speaker. And we can connect up this side. And that's it. Done. Done with the back box. And this should sound a lot better. So let's go down into the cabinet and install the subwoofer. So we want to go ahead and disconnect the Molex, and there's just 4 screws to remove. All right. This horrible thing is out of here. Now on the speaker terminals themselves, there's a little plus and a negative. So this side right here, the yellow and white, is going to be our positive and this is going to be our negative. So we're going to unsolder these and solder them on to the new speaker. And speaking of new speaker, here it is. The Goldwood GW8024. I'll leave links in the description on where you can buy these on Amazon. So if you want to do this to your pinball machine, you'll have the links to do it. So again, this also has a plus and minus on the terminal, so we know exactly where they need to be. So we're just going to unsolder the connections on the other speaker and solder on the new connections on this speaker. And what's nice about these is they drop right in without any drama. The holes line up perfectly. And we just have to put the 4 screws in and you're done with an upgrade. So now at this point, your upgrade is done. However, if you want to take this to the next level, I'm going to show you a little tip that will give you some very deep bass and powerful bass, because this speaker and the 2 in the cabinet are powered off of the tiny power amp in the back box that's on the CPU board. Now, there are a couple of companies like Pin Sound make a Pin Blaster. It's an add-on that actually has some good amplification for your speakers, and that's something I might want to look into with this game. But something I have been doing is by Nobu Sound, and this is I think $49 on Amazon. It is a 100-watt micro amp, and with this thing, you can wire it in line with your speaker output. Here it is right here. And you have a volume control, a subwoofer crossover selection, and a power switch. Now with this little guy right here, it is a game changer for the low end on your pinball game. Comes with the power supply, which is right here, and that'll plug into your service port on your game. You'll also need to get a line level to speaker level converter. And basically what we're going to do is disconnect these wires here that we're going to the speaker, and these are your input wires, so we're going to tie them together, basically positive to positive, and then negative to negative, and then our quick disconnect is going to attach to these, and then we're going to use an RCA cable to go from this to our new amplifier, which plugs in here, and then a short speaker cable to power the subwoofer. And then this little guy will live, you know, on the floor of the cabinet, something like that. Or you could put it towards the coin box if you want easy access. But this little guy right here is a game changer. So let's go ahead and get this installed. So I like to pre-tin these wires so they'll stick together with the factory adapter. Okay, got those soldered up. So I put a little bit of heat shrink tubing on here. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull that over the connections. They don't short out for any reason. Soldering iron to shrink it down. Okay, so this is ready to go. So this provides RCA line level output that will go into the back of this amplifier. So I'll get a small RCA cable and then a small speaker cable to run from the output to our speaker. So now I have my speaker cable here. I made it about 1 foot long. It doesn't have to be that long, just long enough to get to the amp, wherever you're going to set it. Solder that back on. And then this will wire to the back of our amplifier. I'm using the stripe of the wire as my positive. And our power cable. Power adapter is right here. And we just need to run this plug up through the back box. So I'm also going to get a strip of Velcro and set the line level adapter on top of our little power amp, so it's a nice, neat package. So I just need to get the RCA cable, hook it up, and we're done. So here's with the new sound system. I don't know if you can hear a difference, but there's my little amp right there. I have it about a quarter of the way up. This thing will rattle the cabinet. It has so much power. I have the crossover set about halfway and the volume a little over 1/4. This thing sounds so much better. Let me do an A/B game comparison between stock and the new sound system.
Together we can survive.
Hostile units found. Armor integrity at 80%.
Together we can survive.
Renegade unit. Scanning. Hostile units found. Armor.
So one of the first things I do, aside from upgrading the sound, is upgrading our bands. This factory rubber bands, I just don't like at all. So I always go with Titan bands, and we came up with a purple, a translucent purple, so we're gonna see what these things look like. So let's put these on and see what they look like.
He's changing the crappy rubber bands, putting on some sweet Titan bands. Gonna make the pinball machine look amazing and play better too. Trying out some sweet translucent purple. It glows so cool behind the lights. Modding out the X-Men pinball with some cool ass mods.
I'm gonna grab the blue bands and put those on. Yeah, I'm gonna say the blue looks way better. The dark blue. That's the color they should be. That looks way more X-Men to me. Speaking of the flippers, in your goodie bag you actually have flipper toppers. So I'm gonna go ahead and install those. That's a nice little addition from Stern, thank you. And then you have a bunch of replacement Target decals. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these on.
We're putting on new flipper stickers. They come in your goodie bag. Thank you, Stern, for including them. Wow, they look so rad. Modding out the X-Men pinball.
So off camera, I installed the shaker motor. I figured you guys didn't need to see that. There's hundreds of videos on how to install this thing. So that's there. And then there's my little amp for the subwoofer. So let's come around and look at the final result of these mods. One other mod I'm going to do once they come out with some side blade art is I'm going to do the pin lights to light up the field, because it's a little dark right here when you actually have it in a game room situation, not under a bright LED light. But here's the final result. I'm still going to get a blue ring for that guy right there, but I do like the dark blue better than the purple bands. Let me know in the comments which one you like better. And we've got kind of purple everywhere else. So I'm gonna rock that for a while and see how I like it, but I'm gonna enjoy this game, and as soon as some mods come out, stay tuned to the channel, because I will more than likely buy them and put them on and show you how they look and what they do. If you notice my other games in the game room, I definitely have a lot of stuff. Thanks for watching, and until then, keep flipping.